Annual chess fans can once again check how they stack up against other players of the centuries-old game. The 8th Annual Broome County Chess Championship, Francis Cordisco Memorial, takes place this weekend. The two-day tournament is broken into two sections based on players' rankings, with those under 1,700 and those over 1,700 split into separate competitions. Up to $500 in prize money is available depending on the number of entrants. Founder and tournament director John Cordisco says chess is the great equalizer. It doesn't care about a player's age, race, or income.
People that come in to see a tournament, they told me later, they go, wow, it is really intense. I mean, there's nothing going on, there's no sound, but when you walk in, you can just feel the tension because you've got anywhere from 10 to 20 players just thinking as hard as they can.
Each player is guaranteed 6 games over Saturday and Sunday. The tournament is held in the back of Cordisco's Corner store at the corner of Robinson and Shenango in Binghamton. Registration begins at 9 a.m. Saturday with play starting at 10 each day. Call 772-8782 for more information.
Competitors meeting their matches at the annual Broome County Chess Championship. 15 players are squaring off in 6 different rounds at Cordisco's Chess Center in Binghamton this weekend. The tournament's director says he started the event 8 years ago because there wasn't a competition like it in the area, also saying it's great for everyone.
It's a game and a sport. It's an interesting hybrid, and it's got a worldwide following. It does so many things that are good for your mind, seniors, young people. Teaches them discipline, teaches them self-control, teaches them actions have consequences, and it's one of the games that's the cheapest to play.
The championship continues Sunday with the last 3 rounds.
Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. This is the last game from the 8th Annual Broome County Chess Championship Francis Cordisco Memorial. Right now I have 4 points. This is round 6, the last round. And by a weird fluke, I had a couple of players drop out. So what happened was in the last round, you got to play the same person you played earlier, which doesn't happen, very rarely happens, I should say, in a chess tournament. But in a smaller one, it happens. Now, if you watch my other 2 videos, the 2 wins that I had, I explained that 2 of the games were basically beginners, so I didn't show those. But I mentioned one game where I completely lost my mind. It could be the worst game I've ever played. Move 15, 18, my queen's trapped in the middle of the board. It was just horrendous. And so here we are in the last round, and I have to win. I have to win. And this is the young man that I played badly against who destroyed me. So psychologically, I want to give you guys an idea what I was up against here, because it's pretty bad. So, and the weird part is I had white against him last time. Now I'm an E4 player, and he's a Scandinavian player. And I'm a Scandinavian player. That's the part I couldn't figure out, was the fact that even on the white side of the Scandinavian, I completely misplayed everything. I play the Scandinavian all the time. It's my favorite opening for black against E4. So here we are. There are 3 of us with 5 points. Myself, this young man named Sean, I believe it's pronounced Pry, P-R-Y. He's about 1,400 rated. I'm about 1,400. And there's another young man, Tony Zhao, who also has 4 points. So there's 3 of us with 4. And what had happened during the course of his game, he drew one of the ones that were right in contention with me. So they both had 4.5. So both of us now, here we are, the last round, we both have 4. If either one of us wins this game, we win my section. Now, I haven't won a section in the county championship in a very long time because my game is pretty much taking a dump. So I'm just giving you all the background. It's a little long-winded, but I'm giving you the background on my mindset before I went in. So let's get to it. I'm white. Sean Pry is black. He plays the Scandinavian. Now, before I did the advanced, I went to e5. I took it this time. He plays what I play, knight f6. So I decided just to go along. And he went bishop g4. Very interesting. I normally don't see that much. I probably should have played bishop c4 maybe. Bishop f5, c4. I just want real tame. I'm just going to get solid. My confidence was a little busted. To give you an idea, if I went check after c6, pawn takes, knight takes. And that's pretty good. But I went bishop e2. He played queen takes, knight c3. Now this is the one that surprised me a little bit. There are several moves here. Queen h5. Queen d6, queen a5. You see all of those. He went back queen to d7, which was really a surprise to me, because I think that's the wrong square for the queen. So I thought a little bit, is okay, I'll just castle. Now the computer wanted me to play knight to e5, and I see that now. You know, it's tough. But I just wanted to get solid. Like I said, my confidence was a little shaken. Knight c6, d4. He castles long. Very common in this line of the Scandinavian. I said just to develop, and the computer agrees with me. Bishop e3. Protect the pawn and develop your bishop. I'm fine. And this is a move I was a little surprised at, because I think it wastes a tempo. Probably bishop takes knight. Even h5 for that matter, since he's castle queenside. He went king b8. I think he was afraid of this pawn push for whatever reason, I don't know. But he went king b8. Kind of gave me a tempo. I kicked his bishop. Now, I took a risk. I didn't do all the calculating. You could very well take pawn, pawn takes, queen takes, and then go h5. He went h5 first. Now, bishop takes knight is the computer's choice. He went h5. He went aggressive right after me. I think he was thinking, since I played so poorly the game before, he's going after me. Now this is the part in chess where psychology plays a great deal. I had the computer on off screen. And h takes g4 is up a 4-point advantage. The game is over. I calculated and calculated and calculated. Try to get my knight on c3 over. Move my knight on f3. Will that be enough? The queen's right there on the diagonal bearing down. It's only game 75, excuse me, 75, but a 5-second delay. And don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. Calculated and calculated and calculated. My time is ticking. I need to win this game. Not only win the section, but I need to play well. I need to beat this kid just to show him I'm not a chump. And I looked and looked and looked and looked, and I couldn't find a defense. It was just too much. So I didn't take the bishop. I went knight e5. Taking his queen. He played knight takes. I played pawn takes. But he decided to go queen to c8 instead. I figured, okay, I'm still okay. Queen e1. It seems counterintuitive. Maybe go to queen to c1, but I want the rook to come over from the a file to here. And with my queen here, this pawn can come up and my queen can give me some protection. So that was my thinking. Now, He's sitting there calculating and calculating and calculating. We're only on move 12. He decides he can't stand it anymore. He takes the pawn. Now, when you're under pressure like this, you don't see things. You really don't. The computer likes bishop takes a7 check. And if king moves over, knight comes here. If king takes, knight goes there, check. And then a4. I'm on the attack, and he's on the defense. But I decided to. They're all winning moves, but I took the knight. He took. I hit his queen, or excuse me, rook. And I still could have gone bishop takes. After king takes, knight b5, king b6, the king has to come back. Now he's out in the open. Didn't see that. It's what happens when you get flustered. When you have doubts about your ability. Shouldn't really matter about your abilities. You see the board. Now there's some tricks later down the road I was looking at. These bishops could give some good discoveries. He went bishop g7. And the bishop is still sitting on h3. I decided to get rid of one of the rooks. Rook takes. And the rook still sat there. I still didn't go knight to b5. It's just horrendous. You get scared, you get spooked. So I went bishop f3. I got a piece for 2 pawns. Now that bishop has to do something. He has to do something. He goes rook g8. Now I can't take. I can't take it all. Because of the discovery on my king. So I go very quietly, I go queen e2. Now what I should have done is back to the old. Knight to b5, go on the attack. Be the aggressor. Because that bishop on f3 is guarding my position very well. The knight can go to b5 and then take. But I didn't. I went queen e2. Figuring I can survive this game. I'm up a piece for 2 pawns. And he sat there for a while before he made this move. He still didn't move the bishop on h3, believe it or not. And he looked, and he looked, and he looked. Bishop g4 is probably a decent move. Even bishop to f8. That way I can't take the bishop because my king will be in check. Even e5. He decided to go knight to h6. Give you an idea, let's go back. Instead of queen to e2, if I had gone instead knight b5, then after c5, pawn takes a6. That's a great position for me. Great position for me. I mean, look at those 2 bishops bearing right down in his position. Right bearing right down. Bishop can come over. This knight. I got flustered. Anyway, he went bishop to h6. And I looked at it and I went, what? What did he see that I'm missing? And I looked and I said, there's nothing here. And I took his bishop. So right now I've got 2 pieces for 2 pawns. He goes e6. Now I saw a few things. Queen e3 I wasn't real thrilled with. Knight d4 was okay. I did a move that was on the computer, but what I did was I put my queen here. Now, there's a lot of things going on. There's this threat, He moves his queen. He can go bishop to here, but doesn't really do much, to be honest with you. He went c6 to block. And I did the computer move, which I'm kind of proud of. Queen to h4. I'm hitting his f6 pawn and his bishop. His bishop still didn't retreat his bishop. He decided to go e5. Finally, I moved my king. How long has that bishop been sitting there? A long time. Bishop g4. I'm up basically 2 pieces. So I traded. Took the pawn on f6. Now he's got... The attack is over, of course. And I'm feeling pretty good, but I thought to myself, don't screw up here. You got... Now, meanwhile, like I said, the other game was just finishing, and that was a draw of the young man, Tony Zal, that was up with us. So after I win this game, I win this section. My opponent has 4. Tony that just drew now has 4.5. I win this, I have 5, and I win the section. Time is ticking down, but it's not that bad. He goes queen to c7, and I immediately see I can force the queens off the board by going queen h8. He comes back, I take, he takes. I start consolidating here, bishop h3. I got 2 pieces for a pawn. We'll go through the last few moves. I get the open file. Basically has nothing to work with. He moves his rook back. I'll do a few moves here. b4, f4, bishop f2, a6, knight e4. Now at this point I think he should have resigned. He didn't. We'll go through the last few moves here. I won't go through the whole game, but this is basically how it went. I gave up that knight here, if you notice, for that pawn. I got an extra piece. It's over. Now what happened was his king ended up down here, and this pawn turned into a queen and trapped him. And after a few moves he resigned, but I was so happy. I won the section. I closed the store on Saturday because we had the tournament on Saturday and Sunday, so I lost a little bit of money by being closed. And I made up almost all of it by winning the section, so I was really happy about that. My confidence was a little back. So there you have it, the long and the short of a difficult, it shouldn't have been a difficult game, but it ended up being a difficult game. I should have taken that bishop way early on. The game would have been over. Oh well, when your confidence is shaken, sometimes you do things you don't normally do. Anyway, folks, that's the last game, round 6 from the 8th Annual Broome County Chess Championship Francis Cordisco Memorial in the reserve section. I ended up in first. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something to the fact that don't let your lack of confidence cloud your judgment. And as I always say, folks, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.